Hello, I'm Paul Cassidy, Head Teacher of Stirling High School, and welcome to our annual Senior Prize-Giving ceremony. We find ourselves in a really unusual circumstance where I'm speaking to you via a video recording and you're all at home. However, we feel it's so important to recognise the achievements of our young people, so we have adopted this new approach. This year has been particularly challenging due to lockdown and the challenges of COVID-19. Thank you to all our young people and their families for your ongoing support and understanding during these difficult times. Usually we would all be together in the Assembly Hall as a school community to celebrate the successes and achievements of our splendid young people. It is that sense of community that is a vital part of our school. A school is greater than the sum of its parts. These events and opportunities to come together are a great loss to our communal life and a great loss to our school. I'm speaking to you from the Heritage Room of the school, which contains many artefacts going back through the school's illustrious history, dating back to 1129. I've recently been looking in our school archive and came across this book, From Castle Rock to Torbrex, which is a series of essays on the high school of Stirling by Jessie M. Thompson and Charles Strachan, written in 1962 to mark the moving of the school from Spittal Street to Torbrex. One passage in it really resonates with me. The school's real claim to distinction has never depended solely on the achievements of its upper 10. Its real worth is shown in the countless numbers of sound professional and business men and women and plain ordinary good citizens who year by year have left its sheltering walls, bearing with them some quality of values to themselves and their fellow men. This can still be said to be true as it was in 1962. It is important for a school to support the development of the self, to develop further our young people's attributes and interests, and to ignite passions for new subjects. But the most important thing for me is to develop the values of our young people, to support them to value themselves, each other and society, to care for others and their world. Let us then celebrate the quality of values demonstrated by our wonderful young people at this prize giving, for our young people continue to display a quality of values. The most important people in our community are our young people who have demonstrated dedication, hard work and commitment, resulting in a wealth of achievements that we will hear more about later. I'd like to thank all parents and carers for your support and your continued support for our young people throughout these times. Without your support and your love, our young people would not be the successes that they are today. I'd like to thank the Parent Council, our community partnership, with Shan McGregor and Rachel Norman as joint chair, and thank you for your support and ongoing help as we face our difficulties at these times. I would also like to thank the Gildry of Stirling, who supports our History Prize, and the Cassidy family, who have supported the Nathan Murray Collier Prize since 2006 in the memory of Nathan. Thank you to all our benefactors and supporters for this prize giving. I am proud to welcome our guest speaker Jill Stevenson, former pupil and Dean of Equity, Diversity and Inclusion and Director of Student Services at Stirling University. We are honoured to have Jill contribute to our prize giving as an inspirational role model for our school community. I would especially like to thank all the outstanding teaching and support staff who are working tirelessly to support our young people, particularly in this challenging year. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope you enjoy this year's Senior Prize Giving. Thank you.
While 2020 may not be a year we wish to remember for all the obvious reasons, and we were only actually in sixth year for just over 6 months, it is still enough to take away the core aspects from school with us. We didn't get the last day we had imagined and so many times over, or the chance to properly say goodbye to everyone we wouldn't be seeing again in August, but it was something to remember all the same. Even facing these facts, however, many of us took our learning further and did their part in supporting the community by getting jobs in essential supermarkets and assisting local shops. It has been all the more satisfying seeing our peers rewarded for their hard work this year and achieving the grades needed to move on past school and on to independence.
I remember my first day of high school well. While it was evident that I was nervous about what to expect, I was excited about what awaited me. I knew that the work that I was going to put into these next few years was to determine where I was going to end up post-school, and while that frightened me, it allowed me to develop a strong work ethic and gave me a motive to do well. High school, and in particular the last year, has given me so many opportunities that allowed me to grow and develop as an individual. Sixth year is very much a year of independence. While you are still technically part of a school setting, there's so much more expected of you than in previous years. You're now a young adult getting ready to become part of the real world, whether that's joining the workforce or going on to higher education. You need to start taking responsibility for your own workload, as well as trying to scout out opportunities to gain skills to further you as an individual. You may even be trying to do these things while writing out applications, taking admissions tests and attending interviews. I remember looking at the sixth years and thinking how old they looked, and that I would never reach that point in life. But here I now stand with my school years behind me, and I feel the same way I felt as when I was in first year. I'm getting ready to move to Glasgow soon to start my next stage of life in medical school, and while I'm nervous about the changes that lie ahead, I'm ready to start my next chapter of life, while not forgetting everything that my last 6 years here have taught me.
Thinking back on it now, I don't think we fully appreciated what was in line for us after school. Each year we would see the sixth years make a big deal over the last few days as they looked back on their time at school. We were only focused on moving up the years. But while we have had nearly an unpredicted send-off, I for one didn't imagine our last day to involve us crowded around a TV, listening to John Swinney and waiting for him to cancel our exams. And even though we may not like the fact that we have now left school and are in charge of the next steps we take, we have to take them nonetheless, and it is to the school that we can credit with not only preparing us for this time in our lives, but giving us the confidence and conviction to follow our instincts down this path.
Chris and I have both thoroughly enjoyed our last year as head boy and girl. We've been given so many fantastic opportunities and I've got to work with a great team of people. It was a difficult end to the school year and not one that I would have believed had you told me 6 years ago was how our school days would end. It was difficult to be told that we wouldn't sit the exams we had worked so hard to prepare for and that we wouldn't get to spend our last day having the usual celebrations. However, the nature of this ending does not define the short but fulfilling year that we have had. If anything, it's shown the resilience that Stirling High School has as a community, and I am extremely proud to have been a part of that. In a difficult past few months, we are also especially thankful to all of the amazing staff who've supported us, not just recently but throughout our entire time here. Their hard work does not go unnoticed by us as pupils, and I'm sure that I can speak for the entire year group when I say that we are extremely grateful for them all and wish them all the best for the years ahead. I would also like to wish Sadie and Emily, the new school captains, and the rest of the senior pupil leadership team the best of luck in their new roles. I hope you both find the job as rewarding as myself and Chris did. I'm sure you will all do great work. Also look after Mr. Hamilton for us both and try not to torment him too much. Finally, I would like to finish by saying a massive thank you to Stirling High School. You've given us the opportunity to gain the skills and qualities that have allowed us to turn into the 18-year-old young adults who are ready to succeed in our futures that await us. We are now indeed prepared for our time.
Thank you, Eva and Chris. Good evening, everyone. This is Emily and I'm Sadie. We are this year's school captains, the position formerly known as head boy or girl. We're delighted you're joining us digitally tonight to celebrate all of the hard work our fellow senior pupils have put in over the last year and their well-deserved achievements. We'd like to take a minute to reflect on the last 6 months. Not only as a school, but globally, we've been separated to ensure the safety of many. This brought a lot of challenges in many circumstances, which I'm sure you're aware of, however, especially within the school community. When Emily and I were appointed, we realised that in returning to school, there might be this isolated feeling among pupils due to the long period of separation we've experienced.
This year, in particular, a big focus of ours is to all come together and to create an improved sense of community within our school. We believe that this is so important for each and every one of us and will go on so much longer than any of us will be here. We plan to bring the houses back together, competing as a team and striving to be the best that we can be, whilst trying to win the house shield, of course. As captains and as a wider team, we also have lots of other exciting things planned for our year ahead. Our school values are also intertwined with everything that we do, being promoted and explored by our fabulous senior prefects and values leaders.
Our school values are something we hold very high in our senior leadership team, with our values leaders at the forefront of this. This year we are very lucky to have one of the largest senior leadership teams on record. Collectively, we are working hard to promote the school values, which are respect, led by Evie Oliver, responsibility, led by Molly McGregor, and achievement, led by David Ramsey. These values are very important and are at the heart of all of our projects we have already created and or are planning. We want Stirling High School to be a place where everybody is accepted and respected, where every achievement, large or small, is separated, and where we have a say in the content of our learning. By working closely with these values in mind, we are working towards this goal, with the mental health of all pupils at the forefront of all. We are very lucky to have such a strong team to help us accomplish these goals this year, and so far we have already managed to work very hard towards them, so thank you for all of your incredible work so far.
We, as captains, as a team, as a year group, and as a community, look forward to the future of our school. This year is very unique and we want to take advantage of that. We want to acknowledge the ambition, the respect, but also the love and the passion that our pupils have. We'd like our legacy to be that our peers don't look back on this year as the COVID year, but remember it as the most outstanding year. They'll not remember it for the endless wipes or the masks or the slimy hand sanitizer, but for all the fun, the opportunities and the laughs that they had, and they'll take that confidence with them throughout their school life.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Downey. I'm one of the Deputy Head Teachers at Stirling High School, and it's my pleasure to announce our prize winners tonight. So first of all, we're going to do first place in the National 5 courses, and we begin with Administration and IT, Cara Davidson. Art and Design, Sydney Samuel. Biology, Holly Power. Business Management, Ella Mackey. Chemistry, Mary Craig. Computing Science, Angus Henderson. Design and Manufacture, Liam McQueen. English, Mary Craig. French, Evie Stevenson. Geography, Mary Craig. German, Laura Broom. Graphic Communication, Sydney Samuel. Health and Food Technology, Claire Robinson. History, Liam McQueen. Mandarin, Shihan Huang. Mathematics, Holly Power. Modern Studies, Ella Mackay. Music, Shihan Huang. Music Technology, Dan George. Physical Education, Mary Craig. Physical Education Aesthetics, Sophie McAlpine. Physics, Mary Craig. Practical Cookery, Hannah McMillan. Practical Woodworking, Anthony Pearson. RMPS, Joshua Smart. Spanish, Ellie Preston. And that's our 4th year award winners for this evening. Thank you. Next we have our awards for S4 Achievement, Respect and Responsibility.
Hi everyone, I'm Jill Stevenson and I've been asked by Mr Hamilton tonight to come have a chat with you a wee bit about my life and my work since I had left Stirling High School about 23 years ago. It's been a long time. I want to first of all say thanks so much to Mr Hamilton for inviting me here. It's such a privilege and an honour to come back and speak to you, the senior pupils of this high school that I used to go to such a long time after I have left. And I know it's your senior prize giving tonight, and you've all worked really, really hard for the prizes you're getting tonight. So well done and congratulations, and thank you so much for having me here tonight. I spent 6 mostly very happy years at Stirling High School. I studied history and English mostly. I got lots of other hires in sciences, modern studies, languages, but it was history and English that were my subjects. I wanted to become a doctor actually, but I decided in the end to go on and study psychology and history at the University of Glasgow. And I did that. I went on and I got my degree there, and I think for all of you, if you get the opportunity to go to university, stay in halls, meet new friends, enjoy those new experiences, university is a great thing for you all, but it's not for everybody. And I just feel very grateful to have that springboard of Stirling High School to be able to go off and have my degree there at Glasgow. So a little about me. I am 40 years old. I have a school-aged daughter, and I work for the University of Stirling. So just up the road in Bridge of Allen. I work really hard, but I really believe in balance. So I spend a lot of time when I'm not working having fun, seeing my friends, mostly do things about food and cooking and foreign holidays if I can get them. Although this pandemic's kind of getting in the way of that, so I'm not too happy about that just now for, well, that reason and lots of other reasons. Obviously the pandemic's impacting on all our lives just now. But at the University of Stirling, I'm one of the senior management team. I have an incredibly long job title. I am the Dean of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, but I'm also Director of Student Services, and I've worked there since 2008, and it's just really a lovely place to work. Beautiful campus, great people, excellent colleagues, and I'll tell you a bit more about my career there in a moment. So I told you I did a history degree. I think some of you will say, why did I choose history? And I know some of you are studying history, and you'll know yourselves that what history does is it teaches you to make sense of the present by teaching you about the past. It teaches you hopefully not to make the same mistakes again in future, and to make the world a better place. Although I do sometimes think when I see the politicians and leaders of today's society that some more of them should possibly have done a history degree, but less said about that, the better. But above all, what I think history does, as my old high school history teacher, Mr Selkirk, used to tell me, is that history teaches you to read and to write and to think critically. And these, I think, are 3 of the most critical skills you, as pupils going into the world, can have. I would absolutely, if I had one piece of advice to give you, it would be to read and read some more. Also to learn to cook, because if you go off to uni, particularly in a pandemic, it will really stand you in good stead. And if you don't, well, it'll be great when you become an adult, and also just to get you through those rainy Sundays. So after university, I went straight into my first job. It was a graduate training programme with Scottish Homes. I went to Edinburgh. I loved it there. I learned lots of new things. But what I would say to you, my first bit of advice would be to, my second bit of advice would be to travel more. I didn't travel enough after I left university, and if you get the chance to do it, I would grab it with both hands. Absolutely travel if you can. I then went on to work for Sports Scotland, first as a policy manager and then as the ethics manager. And that's when I really got my passion for equality, diversity and inclusion. And I know that's why Mr Hamilton's asked me to talk to you tonight, to tell you about that. And it became fundamental to my career and in fact my whole life. And in 2018 I moved to the University of Stirling, and then I became the Senior Policy Planning and Governance Officer. And there I became responsible for the equalities agenda. I wrote strategies, I wrote policies, and I tried to influence our senior management team and my colleagues to consider EDI as part of everything they did. And that's a very challenging role, especially for a young woman, because everybody's busy. And let's face it, not everybody gets it when it comes to equality, right? But I firmly believe that EDI isn't an add-on, it's something that should be fundamental to all we do. After all, our work is all about people. Teaching them to learn, study, research, work, grow, become employable. We all deserve to be treated with respect and equality and have our differences respected. If we are not, how can we possibly be ourselves? How can we possibly achieve, and how can we possibly succeed? So my passion was born. And then in 2013 I had the opportunity to be at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow 2014, and I was the accessibility and inclusion manager there, and I was responsible for working with colleagues to help them embed EDI into everything they did, from spectator services to venues to finance to athlete services to sport. It was a really amazing experience, and some of you might have come to the games. I hope you did. You might have come to Glasgow Green to race Usain Bolt. You might have even seen him in the flesh. I definitely tried to get a selfie with him, but I was cut out of it, and I think I've got half a head in that picture, but I'm sure he knew I was there. Anyway, that was a big step for me and a massive challenge, but it changed me in so many ways, and it taught me more about how to work under pressure, how to get out of my comfort zone, and it gave me a lot of life-changing memories. And that was the job that taught me to take chances. And that's the next thing I want to say to you. I know it's scary sometimes to put yourself forward for new experiences, to push yourself out with your comfort zone. But trust me, if you do that, you will feel this amazing sense of achievement. You will be so proud of yourself, and a leap of faith pays off. So do it. Push yourself, challenge yourself, scare yourself. I feel scared all the time, but I still try to push myself and challenge myself. And that's my third piece of advice to you. Keep taking chances, even if it's a bit scary. So after that, I went back to the University of Stirling, and I became the head of, and then later the director of, student services. And I've spent the last 7 years trying to create a world-class student experience for our students. I've created a new student hub where our students can come and get advice, they can ask inquiries, and I've created, I think, nationally recognised strategies for things like mental health, disability, gender-based violence, and equality. And last year I was promoted to Dean for EDI, and my job is now to work with all our colleagues across the university to embed equality, diversity, inclusion throughout all of our functions. And Mr. Hamilton particularly wanted me to talk a bit about equality, diversity, inclusion, and I know these values are really important to you here at Stirling High School. So to me, equality, diversity, inclusion are fundamental to everything we do. I've said that already. And to me, the world is a better place when these values are lived by everybody. And we're all different, aren't we? So we're men, women, boys, girls, or we define our gender in a different way. We're older, younger, we're black, brown, white. We come from countries all over the world. We have blonde hair, black hair, no hair, blue eyes, green eyes. We like dogs, cats, mountains, beaches. We might be trans, we might be cis. I like cheese, you might hate cheese. You might like Netflix, I might prefer Instagram. But that's okay, isn't it? That's the point. We're all different and we should be respected. And we shouldn't be discriminated against just because I'm black rather than you're white, or I'm male rather than you're female, or I'm gay rather than you're straight, or you prefer dogs rather than cats. Although, to be fair, dogs are better. But seriously, the problem is that so many people are discriminated against or disadvantaged because they have one of these features or more. And that means they simply can't do as well in life. They can't do as well in studies. They can't do as well at getting a job. They can't do as well in terms of experiencing everything in the world that they should be. And to put it simply, that's just wrong. Take COVID-19 for example. Did you know that if you're black, you're 4 times more likely to die of COVID-19 than if you're white? And if you're black, you're also less likely to do well at university. Did you know that if you're a girl, you're less likely to be paid as well as a boy? Or if you're gay, trans, or gender fluid, you're more likely to be bullied. How can this be fair? In Scotland in 2020, how can this be fair? Well, it's not, is it? Does it make you feel a wee bit angry? It makes me feel angry, and it makes me want to do something about it. I don't want to feel that I'm going to get paid less just because of my biology. And I certainly, as a mother, don't want to feel that my child has fewer examples to do anything she wants to do just because she's a girl. Because of rules and social norms that have no place in this world. So that, Mr. Hamilton, is why I care about equality, diversity, inclusion. And that's why I'm here tonight. And that is why I think we all should be thinking about it every single day. In every decision we make. It's about being kind, being respectful, and respecting the differences we have. We're all different, and we're all brilliant and beautiful. So finally, I'd like to end with just a few words as a parent. And as well as looking after lots of young people at university, many of them who are just a few months older than you. As I said, I'm also the mother of a school-aged child. So I hope I know a wee bit about some of the things that are affecting you as young people these days. I know there's a lot of pressure for you to feel like you've got to achieve, fit in and keep up with everybody and feel comfortable in your own skin. I know that often you might feel anxious and unsettled and unsure, particularly during this pandemic when everything is so uncertain. But what I also know is that everybody feels the same. Yeah, even the person you think is so cool and so confident, they feel the same too. I do. My bosses do, right up to the principal of the university. Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Cassidy, even Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister. Everybody feels anxious and unsettled sometimes, and that's okay. And you'll get better at dealing with it as you get older, so just hang in there. And I guess sometimes everything feels like a competition, doesn't it? Social media is everywhere, and we didn't have that when I was younger, that pressure to be on all the time. And even the fun stuff. Bake Off, Love Island, Next Top Model, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Everything's a competition. But let me tell you what I've learned. Life is not about winning. It's not about being the smartest or the prettiest or the strongest, the cleverest, the fastest. It's about being curious, learning, growing, having new experiences, grabbing fun and happiness when you can see them. Knowing that some days are good, some days are bad, and some days are, let's face it, just a bit boring. And that's okay. But what I will tell you is that always, always, always better days are ahead. So as a parent, never mind the Director of Student Services and the Dean of Equality. What I want to tell you is you're enough. You're brilliant, you're unique, and you give so much to this world. And I know for sure that your parents, your teachers, your coaches, your siblings, your friends, your aunts and uncles feel that too. You are enough. You are perfect. You don't have to be their definition of perfect. You're perfect enough already. So keep doing your thing. Keep challenging yourselves. Be super proud of yourselves for what you've achieved tonight. And look forward to the next challenges. And if you ever want to know anything about a career in equality, diversity and inclusion, or sport, or student services, then please do get in touch. Well done to all of you. I'm proud of you. I think you've done a great job. And enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much for listening. Good night.
on to first place in a higher subject. We begin with Administration and IT, Fraser Craig. Art and Design, Molly McGregor. Biology, Amy Wilson. Business Management, Fraser Craig. Chemistry, Arjun Vaid. Computing Science, David Beachy. Design and Manufacture, Harvey Cotterill. English, Evie Oliver. French, Emily Melrose. Geography, Alison Mitchell. German, Maciej Przlewski. Graphic Communication, Harvey Cotterill. History, Tegan Bainbridge. Human Biology, Suraj Pandya. Mathematics, Liam McQueen. Modern Studies, Ailsa Morgan. Music, David Beachy. And Music Technology, David Beachy. Photography, Millie Stocco. Physical Education, Danielle Newton. Physics, Alistair Kerr. Religious, Moral and Philosophical Studies, Hannah Anthony. And Spanish, Evie Oliver. Okay, we now announce our S56 winners for Respect, Responsibility and Achievement Awards.
We are Timescape. In a world where innovation dominates and the market is constantly evolving, we aim to have our enterprise at the heart of this business revolution. From conducting market research, we found that consumers favoured experiences over physical products and are now more aware of the environmental impact of disposable gifts. With this in mind, the idea of Timescape was generated, a conservation-themed escape room. As the link between education and experience was uncommon, our unique selling point gives us a competitive edge and fills a much-needed gap in the market.
But why conservation? Our world is currently fighting for survival against climate change, plastic pollution and animal extinction, but this is not what we want. Mainstream education fails to teach us to value our earth, and that's where we step in.
With our business plan in the making, we defined our goals to establish our mission, which you can see here. We reinforce this by ethically sourcing our props from local charity shops and Etsy, who offset carbon emissions, keeping our costs low but also supporting businesses within our local community. We remained authentic through our original and handmade clues, all inspired by conservational issues.
With a strong brand identity needed to convey our message to the public, we designed a logo that captures all elements of what Timescape represents. The idea of time running out to save our planet, but also the countdown in our escape room.
Whilst coming up with our escape room and brand, we also created our team structure based on skills we already had and ones we wish to develop.
After the time-consuming process of building our experience, it was significant for us to gain feedback, so we ran a trial day. The common theme found in our survey responses was too high a price, too short a time. This was a shocking revelation for our team and presented us with a new challenge. Combining this field research with competitor analysis, we settled on a fixed price of £15, doubled our clues within a fortnight, and lengthened our time slot, overcoming this setback.
Obviously, the next step for us was to go live. Our sell-out launch took place at Stirling High's Winter Fete, taking regular bookings from then on. Our trade stand was very important in our selling technique as we had no physical product to sell. This was an eye-catching way to attract customers alongside our digital presence.
Our social media platforms of Instagram, Facebook and Twitter were key in collecting information, as well as verbal feedback and face-to-face engagement. These allowed us to accumulate reviews, attract more customers and spread our ethos worldwide.
But we couldn't have achieved what we did without our valued partners. The Bumblebee Conservation Trust donated seed packets, which we awarded to successful escapees, and the High School Community Cafe helped us launch our coffee cup initiative, where our customers could bring a reusable cup and receive a free drink on us.
Our key partner has been Codebase. They generously provided us with their space to hold our escape room for a full sell-out day to the companies within their building, meaning our Codebase event became our largest stream of income.
Central to our financial success, after the initial purchase of our props, cash only flowed into the business. Although our profit was important, our priority was getting our message across and creating a company we were proud of.
Timescape became not only a business, but a friendship. We all formed a strong bond, understanding each other's strengths, but also supporting one another through our weaknesses. Losing team members on our trial day setback were massive challenges we had to overcome, but every cloud has a silver lining. Our problem solving and resilience improved, both being transferable skills we'll take into future employment. Upon reflection, we could have improved on our initial communication.
But now we look to the future. With COVID-19 cutting many university, college and Codebase events, our growth strategy became pinpointed to a 3-step expansion plan. Timescape Corporate, a skill-based model of our experience specifically for businesses, Timescape Digital, an online escape room, and Timescape Junior, a primary school adaptation teaching about conservation. After all, our planet's future is in their hands.
Thank you. We are Timescape, striving to save the world in 40 minutes.
Hi, I'm Ilsa, and this is my poem, Swans on the Clyde. She never thought she'd see the day, she told me. She remembers another river, boiled and churned with steel, grease, lined with lather, lapping sluggishly, then surging to gobble the Kelvin, hungry and murky. The unwashed dish of Scotland's sink, straining and pulling on its stained liquid lip, swollen with its own ferrous water broken-backed with the weight of its jewels. Queen of industry, of commerce, of a city as old as America, bruised and split by the ragged sleeves of ships. Now look, she says, with still eyes. Swans on the Clyde. Fish. Their paper lives. Held like gypsophila in the river's blue hands.
First place in an advanced higher subject. Art and Design Expressive goes to Anna Cummins. Biology goes to Eva Kearney. Business Management to Kirsten McNaughton. Chemistry to Eva Kearney. Computing Science to Katrina Blair. English to Ailsa Morgan, and French to Ailsa Morgan. Geography goes to Hope Wandless. German goes to Justice Beitinger. History to India Simpson. Mathematics to Werner Fernandez. Physics to Christopher Archibald. And Spanish to Colin Ferguson. We now move on to our special awards for the evening. First award is the H.W. Ewing Memorial Prize for Creative Writing, presented by the family of the late Hugh Ewing, a former pupil of the school and awarded for imaginative writing, nominated by the English department. This goes to Ailsa Morgan. Ailsa has demonstrated considerable skill and confidence in creative writing throughout her time at Stirling High, and has taken her skill with language forward through public speaking and showing passion for creative writing outside of school. The Gildray of Stirling Prize for the extended essay in history is nominated by the History Department and goes to Tegan Bainbridge. Tegan achieved the highest grade for her higher history prelim. She has showed considerable passion, knowledge and understanding of history throughout the session and delivered a strong assignment piece highlighting her research skills. An excellent historian. The Confucius Award for Mandarin for special recognition in Mandarin and nominated by the Modern Languages Department goes to Maciej Przylecki. Maciej shows an incredible passion for Mandarin. He was incredibly committed last year and showed real dedication. He achieved an A in his National 5 and is now studying higher this year. What's more, he passed his HSK Level 2 during lockdown. The Sarah Speak Cup for Services to Music, presented by Sarah Speak, head girl in 1988, nominated by the Music Department, goes to Chris O'May. Chris contributed fully to the life of the Music Department as a positive influence and role model to other pupils. He performed regularly in a wide range of groups and ensembles, including the Rhythm and Soul Band, Scottish group, and significantly contributed to the school choir and represented our school in the Stirling Council Schools Vocal Ensemble. The Dr. Canaan Memorial Prize for Music is presented to the pupil showing most progress in instrumental music over the course of the year and is nominated by the Music Department. This year it goes to Nicola McGowan. Nicola demonstrated very good independent learning skills across her 2 instruments in higher music. She self-taught her higher piano music this year, as well as progressing very well with her bass guitar programme. Nicola performed to an excellent standard in her higher exam. The Nathan Murray Collier Cup, in memory of Nathan Murray Collier, a 6th-year pupil at Stirling High School who tragically lost his life in 2005. Awarded to a pupil who works with the Additional Support Needs Department and has shown considerable effort over the past year, nominated by the ASN Department. This year, this goes to Ailsa Johnson. Ailsa is a young person with additional support needs who has shown considerable effort in attending school to complete her volunteering award and the Work Experience Award in her 6th year. She volunteered regularly with Plus, helping other young people with additional support needs and supporting them in the group activities. Ailsa has now gone on to be supported by the Learning and Employability team. The W.G. Malcolm Prizes for Service to the School and Community go to Kyle Taylor. Kyle has worked in the local primary schools as part of his Sports Leaders Award and has also volunteered his time to referee a number of school football games. The Stirling Roundtable Community Service Award goes to Eva Kearney and Christopher Archibald, our head boy and head girl for session 2019-2020. The Global Citizenship Award goes to Connell Ferguson. Connell has a true appreciation and understanding of the wider world and his place within it. A true linguist, Connell has studied 3 languages with us over his years at Stirling High School: French to higher level grade A, Spanish to advanced higher level grade C, and Mandarin to Nat 5 grade A. He respects and values diversity. He's knowledgeable of and works against social injustices. His global mindset means he is open-minded to learn about different cultures and can effectively communicate with people from these cultures. The Jeanette Clark Memorial Award in memory of Jeanette Clark, a valued Stirling High School teacher who sadly passed away in 2016. Mrs. Clark was a member of the ASN department, a champion of young people who required a little extra support. Awarded to a pupil who works with the ASN department or Eco Club, and this year goes to Claire Tillman. Claire is a young person with additional support needs who showed real commitment to the school and her college placement despite the fact this was a challenging year for her. Claire has now gone on to a Work Start college course, which is much to her credit. Claire's passion for drawing has left lovely reminders around the school. The Frank Wilde Award for Courage and Determined Optimism. Frank Wilde was Shackleton's second in command and their endurance expedition around the Antarctic. He was left in charge of 21 men on Elephant Island over winter with no food and just upturned rowing boats for shelter, and through sheer force of will, intelligence, humour, care and calm, kept them alive while Shackleton and 5 others made the amazing perilous journey to seek rescue. The esteem and warmth that Shackleton held Wilde in was second to none. Awarded to a young person who has demonstrated courage in the face of adversity, refusal to give up or care of others that are struggling. Generously donated by the Nunn family. This year goes to Kieran Robertson. Kieran accepted a place on the Stirling Council Ready for Work programme in August 2020. From day one on the programme, he impressed all adults and peers with his commitment, enthusiasm and good humour. Kieran has overcome personal barriers and has secured his dream job as a mechanic modern apprentice. Well done.
As we bring our first online prize giving to a close, it is our privilege to thank everyone involved for putting this celebration together.
An event like this doesn't just happen. A lot of time and effort has gone in to get us to this point. Many people have been involved in the preparations, and we would like to take this opportunity to thank them.
Firstly, on behalf of all of the prize winners who are very proud to attend Stirling High School, we would like to thank our invited guests and all our parents, friends and family for watching.
We would all like to thank Jill for her very entertaining and thought-provoking address.
Thank you very much for helping to make this evening so special. We have a gift to present as a small token of our appreciation, and we'll make sure it gets to you safely.
Thanks to all of those who contributed to tonight. Hope for telling us her experience and taking part in the Young Enterprise, and congratulations again for your team's success. This year's team have a lot to live up to. Thanks also to Ilsa for reading one of her poems. Thanks to our brilliant musicians, our piper Aaron, David and Molly, Anthony, Emily and Dan. Thanks to Jamie, Angus, Molly and David for making sure the technology worked, and for the many hours you spent thinking, filming and editing. We couldn't have pulled it off without you. A big thank you to Eva and Chris for returning virtually and handing over their captaincy responsibilities to us. We know our roles will be very busy, but we're looking forward to the challenge and to many similar exciting opportunities you experienced. We would like to thank our teachers who assisted us in achieving our successes and for their support of all of us throughout the session. A special thank you to Mr Hamilton for his spreadsheet geekiness, Mrs Ballantyne for keeping Mr Hamilton on the correct path, to Mr Downey for getting most of the names right, and to Mr Cassidy for his warm introduction. We are looking forward to another busy year of hard work. For those who have now left Stirling High, we wish you all the success in the future. We hope you have enjoyed our online celebration.